Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga Thursday in the month of January 2024. And hey, today is the 18th. So today is my 4-month post-op anniversary. So hard to believe. And I'm doing pretty good, but still having a lot of swelling and inflammation. But, they say that could take up to a year, even a year and a half to all get better. So trying to be patient and do what I can. So doing what I can might be modifying things for me that you'll be able to do a different way than I can. So I'll try to give you a lot of options for those. We've been starting class this month with a breath control pranayama. And today we're going to do some modifications and progressions of what we call breath of joy. And breath of joy is a stimulating breath pranayama. It's a heating breath control. It's done to really elevate all of our systems, our vascular system, getting into the lungs a little bit more, really waking up the body. If you ever feel a little lightheaded with this, then I want you to pull back, slow it down, modify it any way that you would like to today. So all we're going to do is come to a stand with your feet about hips distance apart and just roll the shoulders back to stand really tall and proud. And we'll just move the arms forward about halfway up towards the shoulders, no higher. Then we'll swing them down and open, again, a little lower than shoulder height. Then we'll swing them down and come way up, whatever your range of motion is. And then just lower the arms down and reach them behind you. So number 1 goes halfway up. Number 2 goes outward. Number 3 goes up as high as you feel comfortable. And number 4 pushes back. We'll do that one more time. Halfway, out, up, and back. So we combine this with our breathing. There's 3 pieces of the inhale and 1 forceful exhale through the mouth. So on 1, we'll breathe in again, breathe in maximum, and then exhale fully through your mouth. Inhales are through the nose. We'll do one more like that. Inhale, 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 and exhale. All right, on our 3rd inhale, when the arms are way up, I'm going to add a toe raise. We're coming off of our heels. It's called a releve in ballet. So we'll inhale halfway, inhale again, lift up on the toes, and then push your arms behind you. Inhale, inhale, raise up, and push back. One more. Inhale, inhale, raise up, and push back. Okay, let's take out the toe raise for now, and we'll do a little bit of a chair pose on the exhalation. So we inhale, 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 and then chair pose, pushing your arms behind you. Breathe in. Whoop, I went up too high. All right, halfway. Out and up and push back. I want to demonstrate that properly. Good. And push back. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Push back. Okay, pause. So if you have any lower back issues, you're just going to do that chair. If you feel okay for your lower back, when you push back, you can fold way forward and hinge from your hip. So I want you to decide on that last piece. So we'll try it. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and breathe in, in. One more. All right, we'll put it all together with the toe raise. So we'll breathe in, raise up on the toes, and exhale. Breathe in, raise up. One more. Take a break. Okay, so now we're going to speed it up, and we'll do this for 60 seconds at your pace. I'm not going to cue the breathing in, the breathing out. You know where it is, and do any of those levels that you'd like to do, whether you're raising on your toes or doing chair pose or folding forward. All right, let's fully exhale to prepare and begin. Remember, if you start to get lightheaded, you can slow it down or take a break. 30 seconds to go. 10 seconds. 2 more. 1 more. And then just come to mountain pose. Woo! How'd you do? Place a hand right there and see what's going on. Heart rate's up. A hand here. Belly is moving out and in. Breathe in a little bit harder. Just let all of that dissipate for just a little bit and settle down. Might feel some tingling in your fingers. Very energized. So if you need a pick-me-up through your day, try breath of joy every once in a while and see how that feels for you. Okay, with the feet about hips distance apart or a little closer, we'll bend the right knee, and I have the ball of my foot on the floor. My heel lifts up. Lift your arms out, and then turn toward the bent knee and look behind you. Come back to the center line, and then drop your heel as your arms drop. Now we'll bend the left knee, let your heel pick up, lift the arms, turn toward that left knee, look behind, come back to the center line, release it down. As the right heel comes up, open, turn, exhale, back to center, inhale, lower the heel down. Left side, inhale, twist, exhale, open, inhale, relax, exhale. One more time on each side. Heel comes up. We twist, center, relax. One more on the left. And come down. So that's option 1 to stay with. Option 2, we're going to pick the foot up off the floor instead of just the heel. And when you do, touch your foot to your ankle. That's going to give you some bracing and support. So let's try it on the right side. Lift, turn, center, and down. Oh man, that sure changed it, didn't it? So if you need a chair or a wall to help you when you do this, feel free. So we'll do it on the left side. Pick the foot up, attach it to your ankle, turn, center, and down. Now a little hint to make this easier on balance. When you turn, keep your head looking forward. So let's try it that way. We'll lift up the right knee, keep looking forward, turn, center, and down. That was a little bit better. Let's do it on the left. Keep your head forward, center, and down. So that shows us that our vision has a lot to do with our balance. Now, if you need the wall for support, what I want you to do is stand with so if you're doing this knee, stand with the other hand on the wall. No, I'm not doing that opposite. Stand with this hand on the wall so that you can turn and still have your hand on the wall toward this bent knee. Okay, a lot of options. Let's do 3 on each side. If you want to bring your foot up a little higher on the shin, you can, or on the inside of your knee. I just happen to have a wall behind me, so when I turn, I can put my hand on it. And try to keep that knee straight ahead when you're turning. If you turn your hips, your knee's going to want to wobble out or inward. We have 2 more on each side. Good. So our entire lower body is staying stationary. We're turning from the waist and the upper back. And 1 more on each side. Try to put it with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one on the left. And relax it down. Great. Let's take a nice big deep breath in. Drop your right arm and side stretch over to the right. You can place your hand on your hip. You can bring it across the front of your body wherever it feels comfortable. And notice that sometimes our body wants to fold forward here. So I want you to keep pulling this upper shoulder back. If this hurts your arm to have your hand up, you can just place it right on your shoulder. It's about what we're doing with our waist. All right, let's release that side. Inhale, reach up. Drop that left arm down. Take your side stretch. Supported or unsupported. Top shoulder rolls back slightly. And release it down. So that's option to stay with. Option number 2, let's reach up and interlace your hands. My fingers aren't quite in the camera. I have my index fingers extended up. All of my fingers are wrapped, bringing the biceps close to the shoulders and stretching that side waist. Pull the top shoulder back a little bit. You can even look up toward the sky under your arm here. And then come back up and release. Now, if that's not okay for your shoulders, take that first option or any modification. Breathe in, interlace your hands, and do me a favor and interlace them the other way. I know it feels really odd, but it's good to do the thing we don't always do. And side stretch. Pull that top shoulder back. Maybe look up. And then come up and release it down. Interlace hands behind your back, or you can put your hands on your hips or even take a yoga strap or belt behind you. Drop your shoulder blades, so make sure they're not shrugging up. So push down, retract your shoulder blades as close as you can together, and then lift your arms up any amount from the back body. Then we're turning our head to the right, slightly dropping the chin down to look at the floor to your right side, rolling the chin toward the chest, then bringing your head straight back to neutral. Turning your head to the left, dropping the chin to look down, rolling down to center, and back to neutral. Good. Release the clasp of the hands. Interlace in front of you, and you can either keep your palms facing your body or you can turn and push away, whatever feels more comfortable with your hands and wrists. Again, drop your shoulder blades down so we're not shrugging up. Now separate your shoulder blades to create space there. Turn your head to the right. Drop the chin to look down. Roll chin to chest. Head back to the center line. Keep separating those shoulder blades. Look to the left side. Drop the chin, looking down. Roll it down to midline. And then look back to center. Let your hands separate. Come to our cactus arms. Pull your elbows way back and your hands, and we'll do this neck exercise one more time from this position. Look to the right. Lower your chin. Roll down. And center. Left. Chin drops. Roll center. And come up. Good. Place the palms together at heart center. Bend both knees, sit into chair pose. And hold your chair. Now I've chosen to keep my feet closer together so my knees are touching, but you might be here. Just make sure that your knees and feet are tracking. Hold your chair pose and make sure the knees don't start to shift forward and back as you begin to turn from right to left. And your chair pose doesn't have to be a deep one. And make sure your body's not folded way forward, just rotating side to side. If balance is a struggle, you can keep your head facing forward if you want, or take it with you as you twist. Last one to our left side. And then press up out of the chair pose. Our right foot will step slightly forward. Our left foot steps back and come up off of your heel. You can keep both legs straight or you can bend this front knee a bit. So this is called high crescent lunge. Keep your lunge in place, keep this knee squared, and turn from right to left. Ooh, now if you're really struggling with balance, let your back heel go ahead and find the floor behind you and make this more of a warrior one. Good. I want you to feel the muscles that you're activating for this twist. Let's take one more to each side, right and left. Gaze can stay forward if you need for balance. Once you come back to the middle, we'll switch feet. Left foot steps in front. Right foot goes back, heel is up. Front leg can be straight or bent. Press at the palm center. This time I want you to turn left first. Now, if you push your hands together harder, it might get a little bit more work in the upper body here. On Tuesdays, we're working on isometric strength training. So we could get an isometric contraction for the chest muscles and a little bit in the shoulders as well if we press the palms together. Let's go one more to each side. Definitely challenges the balance. Once we get back to the midline, step the feet together. Okay, choose which side of your mat you'd like to be the top of the mat as we go through a few poses for a sun salutation. If you need a chair, I want you to pull that in front of you because it's a nice option. For when we go down to the floor, you don't have to go all the way down. So let's take a breath. Inhale up. Exhale and forward fold about halfway. I just want you to test and see how the hamstrings are feeling. And then let's come back up. Inhale. Forward fold about halfway. And I'm just bringing my arms straight forward because I'm pretty close to my wall here, so it's hard for me to do a circle sweep for a swan dive, but you can also do it that way as well. Let's do one more. Knees can bend any amount when you come into that forward bend. Now, if you're using the chair, the hands can be right here on the chair as we step the right foot way back into a lunge, or you can have your hands down on the ground. And we are going to twist open to the left. You can also use a block here underneath your right hand, and we'll twist open. Now, sometimes this upper hand can bother the shoulder if we're stretching it up, so we can bring it to our hip or even wrap it behind our back. Now, as you're holding this twist, just take a glance down at your left knee. Is it about directly over your heel? That's where you'd like to be. It's a nice strong position. It can be a smidge forward or back. That's okay. And let's take one more breath. And then as we lower, you'll step back into forward fold. So you can use hands on the mat or hands to the chair. We'll pause there for a second. Then inhale back up. Exhale back into your forward fold. Hands can go on the chair, the floor. Step your left foot back into your lunge. And then we will twist to our right side. Good. Now, ideally, you want your back leg to be really straight. With my knee replacement, I'm having difficulty getting the last few degrees of extension when I'm actively firing my quad. So it's probably looking like my knee is bent, but I'm firing my quad as hard as I can to try to straighten it. And that's all I ask. It doesn't have to be completely straight. I just want you to fire those muscles and go to where you can go. Check your knee, make sure it's right about over your heel. And let's take one more breath here. Stepping back into your forward fold, you might need your chair to assist. Pause there for a moment. And then we'll inhale to come back up. And exhale back into your forward fold. See if you can take it a little deeper this time. Hands can go to the chair, floor. Step your right foot back. Block under the hand if you need. Maybe you can drop it down to a lower position. Twist open to your left. Choose your options, maybe wrapping that hand around the lower back. Look way up over the shoulder. Activate the quadricep muscles in your right leg to try to get it really straight. One more breath. Then come out of your twist. Step the back foot forward into your forward bend. I had to take a few steps to get there. Take however many you need. Inhale to come back up. Exhale to fold. We have one more of our twisting lunge. Take your left foot back. So this would be your option with your hand on the chair here, twisting open, maybe wrapping the hand behind. And you want to drop your hips down so the lunge doesn't look like your rear's up in the air. So drop it down, get a nice stretch. Maybe look up over that shoulder. One more breath. And then reach back down, step forward, forward bend, hold. Then inhale, back up. And press palms, standing in Samastitihi or Namaste. Now, if you cannot get down onto your belly, if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can do a hands and knees on the next exercise, or you can stay here with your hands on the chair. What we're going to do is an upward rotation of the back. So I'm going to show the chair first, just to give you that option. You would place your hand on your shoulder and rotate the shoulder up. And then do the other side, rotate up. So I want to give that option. If you want to come down to your hands and knees, drop down from here. I'll see how much pressure I can put on my surgical knee right now. Then you'd put your right hand on your shoulder, reach up, or you can certainly reach the entire arm, and then come down and do the other side. If you'd like to come all the way down to the belly, one more option for you guys, coming all the way down. Hands can be at your shoulders, or the back of your hands can support your forehead. We'll lift the right elbow up, contract your back muscles, then come down, and the other side. So hopefully you have enough variations to do what works for you. So let's focus on these for about the next 60 seconds, going at your own pace. And no matter whether you're standing, kneeling, or on your belly, you want your pelvis to stay as neutral as possible. So both of your frontal hip bones, known as the ASIS, anterior superior iliac spines, are facing down toward the floor. Excellent. Let's do one more on each side. And relax. So after we've done that upward rotation, it's nice to take a counter pose for our back. So if you're on your belly, you can press up to child's pose or downward dog. Same thing if you're on your knees, you can press to child's pose or down dog. Or if you're standing up and you've chosen to use the chair, also pressing back. You can do a cat stretch as well. Sometimes that feels great too. Okay, continuing to move into our twists. If you can't come down onto the floor, you're going to have a seat in your chair in a side saddle position. So I have my right hip on the chair, my left foot behind me, as we're going to be twisting here. If you can come all the way down onto the floor, we call this our mermaid position or the Z-sit. So take your time to get into either position. And this is one of my favorite twists. I just love it. It feels so great. Now, your hips don't have to be even. They can be on an angle. I like to sit my lower hip on a little bit of a blanket. So let's inhale the arm up on this left side and use your spine to pull back as far as you can. This is going to stretch this shoulder a little bit, so be aware of that. Make sure that feels okay. And then this is our modified thread the needle. We'll reach through and look behind. Kind of using the anchoring of my right hand on the mat to find more stretch, but be real careful with that. So we have both movements. Now let's do them with your breathing. So we'll inhale fully and deeply, then exhale completely. At your own pace, 30 seconds. And be gentle if you're feeling any strain in your low back. This should be a therapeutic exercise. It's not necessarily going for a maximum edge or range of motion. This will be your last time reaching under. And then reach up, hold, lower this arm down. And then if you can grab your ankle right here, we'll hold a little bit of a stretch for the quad. If you can't grab it, it's okay. Just leave your leg down on the mat and you can lean your body back to get a stretch, or you can loop your yoga strap around your ankle. You can also come down to your elbow here, and let's tighten the left glute and pull the knee back to lengthen the quad. Now, sometimes I'll see yoga practitioners that have very flexible knees. They'll bring their heel kind of out to the side and they'll tuck it right over by their hip. In my opinion, you might be able to do that okay for a while, but it could be very damaging to your knee. So I want you to keep your heel directly in a line with your sits bone and try not to crank it out to the side. All right, let's release that ankle. Press yourself up, and then we're going to fold over this front knee. So walk your hands out, take yourself down. You can support yourself on a block. You can also stack your fists just to relax your forehead here. So this is an option of pigeon. So if you want to take this left leg and slide it way back behind you and do full pigeon, you certainly can do that as well. The focus is on opening up that front hip. And just a couple more breaths here. If you're watching later on YouTube, you want to stay longer, just hit the pause button and stay there as long as you'd like. All right, let's press back up. Now, if this outside foot, the left foot, meets this foot, we're in butterfly. So swing it around, place the soles of the feet together, and allow the knees to open. I've always been pretty tight in my hips, but I feel like since my knee replacement, I'm even tighter here. So it's amazing how the body can shift as you're going through certain injuries and trying to recover from that. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds in butterfly to do with what you would like to. You can fold through the middle. You could add a twist if you're enjoying the twists today. You can press your knees apart with your forearms, or just sit tall and breathe. And if you're up in your chair, you can do the same thing seated in the chair. Just bring the soles of the feet together and allow your knees to open any amount. And one more breath. Lovely. Okay, now we're getting into our mermaid sit or our Z sit on the other side. So if you're in the chair, you're going to be on your left hip side saddle with the legs off to that right side. Here on the floor, we have the left foot in front, the right foot out to the side, and I'm supported on my left hip. And of course, I'm mirroring those directions to you. All right, let's reach up. The first one we do, we'll just hold it. So pull back, look behind you. Check to make sure this feels okay on both of your shoulders. And then do that modified thread the needle by reaching through. Look way behind. Almost feels like you're wringing out your spine like a little sponge or a little hand cloth. And now we'll move this with the breathing for 30 seconds. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to reach through. Gentle therapeutic twist. And we have time for one more. And then just open out, lifting that arm up. Relax it down. And let's stretch the quad. I almost went there. My brain said, no, we're going here. So if you can grab your ankle, great. If not, you're just going to lean your body back so you feel that stretch, or grab your yoga strap, place it around the ankle. And that for me is my maximum knee bend on that surgical knee right now. So remember, we're keeping the heel right in the center of the glute there where the sitting bone is. If you tighten your glute muscle, that will help you to release your hip flexor and glide your knee back a little further. Good, just a couple more breaths. And then we'll release it, pressing up, and now we'll take our modified pigeon. So you can fold your upper body at any angle over this leg that feels good for you. You might want to bring it right here through the middle, or you can take your chest a little bit more toward your knee. So explore that. It's all about where you feel the stretch. So there's really no right or wrong. And maybe you're feeling more of a stretch in your back than you're really feeling in your hip. It just all depends on where your tightest link in the chain is of these muscles we're stretching and opening up. If you want to slide that top leg all the way back into full pigeon, you can do that as well. Leveling off the hips as much as you can. And just a couple more breaths here. Relax and enjoy. Okay, let's start to slowly press up. Now, if you like that butterfly stretch, you can do that again. Or our next option will be a wide leg straddle stretch. So instead of having the soles of the feet together, we can bring both legs out wide. And I'm going to sit up on my blanket. Sometimes if we lift the hips a little bit, it helps us to sit up straighter. Good. So either one, butterfly or wide leg straddle. And again, I'm going to give you some time here to do whatever you'd like. So you might fold forward. You might fold over one leg and then the other to add a little bit of a twist. Or you can just sit straight up and breathe. So sometimes it's nice to give you a suggestion to the pose that we're doing, where to start, and then just let you play with it and explore, because all of our bodies are so different and need different approaches to these poses. And just about another 15-20 seconds. If you need longer, feel free to take it. 2 more slow breaths. Very nicely done. So we are going to come into reclining twist down on your back. If you'd prefer not to get on the floor, stay in your chair, sit upright. You can do the same twist that we're going to do on the mat. If you're coming down to the floor, you might have some props available to the right side of your body because we'll be twisting that direction first, and you might need to have something to just prop yourself up and to support you. So I'm going to have my blanket and my block available so that I can relax that hip. So from your reclining position, we'll straighten out the right leg. Same thing if you're sitting in the chair, straighten it out. Pull your left knee up to your chest and just hug it in for a moment. And let's flex and point the left ankle, or maybe make some circles with the ankle joint. If for some reason this hurts your back, you can always bend the other knee and let your low back press down to the floor. So that's always an option when we're doing what we call the wind relieving pose. Okay, so the twist will go left knee over toward the right side of your body. So I'm going to use my right hand to help and just bring it across. And it's okay if your leg is hanging in space, but if you can get something under it to support it, you're going to be able to relax more. The goal is to have your shoulder blades level down on the floor. So if your left shoulder has picked way up, then lessen this part of the twist so you can keep your shoulders down. Your arms can be in goalpost or cactus arms. They can be out to the side, or you can just lower your arms across your rib cage, and that's going to be a little bit easier on your shoulders. You can also continue to take this right hand and push down on the outside of that knee. And let's just relax in this passive stretch. Take some deep breaths into the rib cage. You could even do kind of a breath of joy rhythm here by inhaling 3 breaths and exhaling through the mouth. All right, let's prepare to move to the other side. But before we do, let's lengthen the hamstring. So bring that knee back to the midline. You can hold behind the thigh or grab your yoga strap, place it under the bottom of the foot, and extend your leg up. If you want to move this into your IT band a little bit, we can let the leg come over to the right, but not twist your body. So we're just opening up the outside of the hip just a little bit into that iliotibial band. And if the low back is bothersome, bend your knee on the right foot, set your foot down on the mat. All right, let's lower both feet. Extending your left leg out to straight. And then I'm going to move my props from the right side of my body over to the left so it can be ready for that direction of twist. And we'll pull the right knee right up to the chest and flex and point or circle the ankle. And feel right here both of your shoulder blades down into the mat, because once we twist, I want you to feel exactly the same pressure in your shoulder blades as you're feeling right now with your body straight on the floor. All right, let's go ahead and start to drag that right knee across toward the left. And this could very much feel different than the other side. I'm feeling a lot tighter here, so I'm going to have to stack my props up quite a bit more to keep this right shoulder down. Then play with the arm position where that feels most comfortable for you. Using this left hand to press down on the knee is nice. And then if you like that 3-part breath of joy, inhaling 3, 2, 1, exhaling through the mouth. Now in a twist, you can always turn your head the opposite way your knee is turning if you like that style of a twist, more of a spiral, or you can just keep your head neutral. Okay, let's prepare to come out of the twist into our hamstring stretch. Realigning your knee to neutral, extending the leg any amount until you feel the back of the leg start to lengthen. You can keep it straight up, or you can just bring it across the body a little bit to feel the muscle that's right above the IT bands called the TFL, or the tensor fascia lata. So we might be feeling that stretch there, or it might go all the way down the outside of the leg into the iliotibial band. Excellent. Okay, let's put both feet flat on the floor. Same thing if you're seated in your chair. And take me a second to get my knee to bend. There we go. Okay, so if you're sitting in your chair, I just want you to sit upright and put your hands on your shoulders. If you're laying on your back, you can bring your fingers to support the back of the head here. And we'll lift our right knee up and try to bring the left shoulder toward that right knee. And notice I didn't say elbow, because when we say elbow, then we try to pull this arm across. And then lower down, pick up your left knee, bring your right shoulder across. So you can still do these in a chair and try to fire those abs. You won't quite have the resistance of gravity that you would on the floor, but it's still a great exercise to do if you can't get down onto the mat. And just going at your own pace, exhaling in the twist and inhaling to relax. Let's do 2 or 3 more on each side, depending on your speed of movement. And then when you're ready, relax it down. Take a nice deep breath in. And we'll come into windshield wipers. So take your feet a little wider and your knees are just as wide. And drop both knees over to the right a little bit. And then both knees to the left. You can do this seated in a chair. And we're we're just gently twisting our spine a little bit because the hip is lifting up away from the ground or away from the chair. One more each direction. And then back to neutral. Very nice. Hug both knees into your chest. If you're in the chair, just separate your knees a little bit and fold your upper body forward. You can hold knees to chest or take your happy baby by separating your feet a little bit, reaching for the outside of the feet, pulling your knees down toward your armpits. And those of you that are on the floor, I just want you to stay there while I demonstrate on the chair as well. So with our chair, we're just going to separate the feet nice and wide and let the upper body come down through the center, supporting on the knees or maybe taking your hands down to the earth. And let's take 2 more breaths here. If you're on the mat, you can rock a little bit side to side. And then I want you to find a pose for our relaxation shavasana. So if you're sitting in the chair, you can maintain this seated position for seated meditation and just scoot back, relax your shoulder blades back into the chair, relax your hands into your lap. If you're on your mat, you can lengthen the legs straight out ahead of you to that traditional shavasana. Or you can bend your knees and open the knees out into a reclined butterfly pose. We'll all close our eyes. If you'd like to place something over your eyes to just shut out the light in the room, that's always nice as well. So we'll use the rhythm of the 3-part breath of joy to take a 3-part relaxing breath. So the first inhale, I'd like you to feel your belly float away from your spine. The second piece of the inhalation, allow your ribs to flare out to the sides. On the third inhale, let your heart and your chest lift. And then exhale completely, either through the nose or the mouth. We'll inhale the belly, the ribs, the heart. Exhale fully. So we'll take just a couple of minutes in quiet for you to focus on this breathing pattern. Either remain with this breath pattern, or you can allow your breath just to come to a normal flow. And remaining as you are, whatever position you've taken, just turn your head from side to side. So, seated in a chair, just rotate. Laying down on the mat, feel the back of your head into the floor or a blanket or pillow as you turn from side to side. And then just to start to add any other movement that feels good for you. It might be opening and closing your hands or wiggling your toes.